looking at numbers-wise here. The control freaks are monitoring food right now because they also, you got to remember, from the control freak end, they're going to want to charge you more. And one of the excuses they're going to use for charging you more is that, well, it costs us to track all this stuff because government put all these restrictions on us. Well, of course they will. They'll charge it, and of course, in the process, plug in minimal service, of course. So for the few pennies worth of time it takes, and for everybody else doing their work for them, by the way, keep in mind, even though the Department of the Interior / the Interior Police of the KGB / Homeland Heartland Security, they're going to tell you all about how much they do. They are doing jack squat. Everybody else is the de facto agent of this police state, every step of the way. So everybody else is doing all the work for them, people. They're sitting on their dead hind end doing squat, doing nothing, basically lording over you, and everybody else is doing the, oh, hold still, I didn't hit you with the whip on the back there, now, as one more time they drive the slaves, you push them more paper, doing more of their work for them. Yes, massa, that's how it works. Anyway, point is that they do know. And the reason they're not telling you that they know anything is because it points in the same direction over and over again, that toilet south of the border, which, of course, if you live in the environment and you're adapted to this, it's not going to be a problem. It's why, remember, there's a term. Remember Montezuma's revenge? Don't eat the food. Don't eat the fresh fruit down there. Why? Well, because your metabolism, your system, isn't adapted to those processes. Whereas, on the other hand, having been raised with those systems in place, a lot of the people are able to deal with it. And that's just the nature of the environment because of the bacteria. And again, adaptability, defense mechanisms are in place, et cetera, et cetera. Although even people down there get sick because things, like salmonella affect everybody. Anyway, now, that eliminates that lie, I hope. And another little thing I'll tie in with this, by the way. If you think they've got anal retentive control freak strings on the produce guys and girls, the next one, you want to go talk to your grocer about meats. And ask them just, hey, can you show me what your log books, do you guys have log books for your food when it comes in? And they'll roll their eyes and go, oh, let me tell you. Half the job of a butcher right now, or a meat cutter, or a person who's handling food stocks, is to virtually log the stuff in right there at the grocery store level, people. So that's another one. I'm waiting for that lie to come next. We just don't know where it came from. Now, here I'll give you a little hint. Right now, with regard to, for instance, Myers Thrifty Acres here in the Midwest, centered out of the western part of Michigan, almost 100% of the fish are coming from communist China. That's right, almost 100%. Now, does that mean what? Did we kill all of the fishermen of the United States? Did something happen that I missed here? Did they go along the shore and execute every fisherman here in this country as for the industrial fishermen? Well, they did to a degree because of all the restrictions they've put on us, but all the unlimited access that everybody else has to our fisheries and everything else. But the interesting thing is they're not the only ones. Go to Wally World. Go to Walmart. They have food. Ask them. Go talk to their butchers. Hey, how much of your stuff comes from China? And they'll look around because they aren't probably supposed to talk too much about it. Guess what? You want to bet that maybe 100% of it comes from China there, too? How much you want to bet? You want to bet? You want to put some money down on the table? I know you don't. Well, the point is that there's another one. Now, let's go right on down the list. What other food chains might be doing the same thing? So after a while here, you got to ask yourself, hey, wait a minute. If somebody were going to monkey screw with the population here and wanted to really hit everybody, since everybody's been told fish is healthier for you, you need to buy more fish. Well, is it if it's being processed by the Chinese? Is it? Is it safe? Those tomatoes that you were told not to eat, you were told before that they were safe, too, coming in from overseas. Now, let's reverse this. America was the breadbasket of the world. How and why would we be stupid enough, well, I know why, and I think all of you do, too, if you've been listening long enough. Food is a weapon, and the population was producing enough here to take care of themselves. But everybody's going to be a rock star, and everybody's going to, be able to sit on their hands and wait for the government handout rather than working for a living. And guess what? You know what happens? Eventually nobody's working for a living. if you wonder what happened in communist Russia and why it is that everybody had to stand in line for toilet paper, toothbrushes, and anything else you can think of to include lard instead of meat, that's what I'm waiting for next. You see, in Russia, for instance, they couldn't produce enough meat, and even if they did, the government didn't give it to the people. If they did, it came out in very, very narrow spurts. Otherwise, whatever meat you did save or get typically was kind of high-fat content, and people, they didn't make necessarily meat sandwiches during the week. They would save the lard or grease drippings. I have several defectors, the guys used to, laugh about it. It says, no, we used to make lard sandwiches. What they would do is you would cook, and the spices and everything else would have to be saved in with the grease or the oil, which of course would solidify since it was animal fats. And you would cut it, about a quarter to a half-inch thick, and put that between two slices of really coarse grain bread. That was lunch. Lard sandwich. Now, how much of our food is being brought in from overseas? And if somebody decides that they